Hello and welcome along to part 2 of this new FM21 mini-series, Saving Spurs, with me, Daniel. We've come back from our beta save where we managed Wigan Athletic back in November last year, and we are taking charge of a Tottenham side that unbelievably got relegated in the first season from the Premier League. All the stars were still there, and we had some work to do in the transfer window. Have we been able to hold on to everyone? Have we been able to bring some stars in? There's a few little answers across the page which just make this probably the most unrealistic FM experience I've had for a while. But if you want to find out how the rest of this series go, and you're looking forward to our first game against Blackpool, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily content, new episodes from this one every weekend, and weekday videos from our Builder Nation with Bangor City. And there's links up in the eye above to the Twitch channel, to the football podcast, and much, much more. And also episode 1, in case you missed the introduction. But today we're going to be focused on our big transfer window with Tottenham. How many of the players have we lost? How bad a position are we in financially? But also, which superstars have we got in and what squad have we got in place for today? It's going to be a big one, and we will show the game against Blackpool, who, just like real life, have been promoted. And those of you that followed the beta save will know that they ran away with League One at a canter. After this episode, we'll probably focus almost exclusively on the Cups moving forward, because that's going to be the big one for us. We want to try and win not only promotion, but a League Cup or an FA Cup, and try and get into Europe on our Premier League return. It's a big ask, but the squad we've got might be able to do it. Of course, West Ham surprisingly came down as well. We've got massive sides in this championship this year. Wigan came up, we took them up. Blackpool up as well. We saw Sheffield United come down from the Premier League and Ipswich come up from League One. So that is the state of play at the moment. Let's start though by having a look at our transfers, because this summer has been a very strange one and probably not what we expected before we started this series. So there are a few more deals to be done, but you can see we've made a massive profit in the transfer window. And not only that, we've also seen a bizarre set of deals. A lot of players who were sort of squad men who have gone out. We've managed to keep all of the stars, which I'm going to have to reflect on later on. I don't quite understand how. Harry Kane hasn't really complained at all. He did come and ask later about leaving, but agreed to the same thing as Son and Lo Celso and all of the other big stars as well. But we have made a few squad changes. We promised anyone outside the starting 11 we'd probably go and get rid of if we got a big enough offer. And rather interestingly, unbeknown to me, I'm recording this on transfer deadline day in real life. And the Emerson deal that we've got on the left-hand side has just got some cracking symmetry to it. We'll deal with that in a moment. There's a few more potential deals going on, both on loans and permanents out of the club. I just want to look at the end of last season to see if anything really stood out. There were actually a few big ones that went through very early. So Eric Lamela left for Zenit St Petersburg, £8 million up front, rising to over 16. It's a very good player, but it's 80 grand a week off the wage bill. We couldn't turn that down for what was a fifth choice winger. A bit further down with the loan deals, we did loan Oliver Skip out again. He's gone to Brentford. Joe Rodon has gone back on loan to Swansea, though before the end of the window I might recall him. We'll see what position we're in, but I'd rather him get a season of football, to be honest. And then the other one that went out, the big one, and you've probably seen the reason why already, is Hugo Lloris, who's gone to Bournemouth for £13 million. He did kick up a bit of a stink when we got the offer in, and once we knew we had just as good a replacement, I think we were happy enough to let him go. A much younger replacement too. That brings us to this season. We're going to deal with all the stuff on the left in a moment, but let's continue with the outs first. Danny Rose and Toby Alderweireld, two very experienced pros leaving. Salzburg was the destination for Danny Rose at 31 years of age. Didn't need a third choice left back on 40 grand a week. And then Toby Alderweireld, one of the biggest earners in the squad. He's gone to Juventus. And as a third choice centre-half, that's 150 grand off the wage bill. We've got to be pleased. Guido Pizarro, a bit of a poor signing last year. He's gone off to Shakhtar for around £3 million. Joe Hart goes to AC Milan for £2.5 million. Very ironic when you consider what's happened on the other side. Moussa Sissoko, surprisingly, was the one that we got massive money for. Nearly £20 million from Porto for the 31-year-old French midfielder. He is actually a player I really like in real life and would have tried to keep around. But when we got that sort of offer, for a player who was definitely going to be a backup, there was no way on earth we couldn't accept it. A lot of youngsters going out on sort of smaller deals. It's something we didn't really bargain for. But you can see the likes of Pedder for 140, Rolls for 500, Austin for 75. There were lots of those little deals around, and that just sort of helped tie us over as well. But there was one other big one that did go out, and that was Serge Aurier. Not a player I was planning to sell, but when the Chinese Super League came calling and there were offers above his value, for a 28-year-old, for a player who I was probably going to have a second choice behind Doherty, I didn't feel like I could turn it down. Cameron Carter-Vickers, former hero at my club Luton Town in real life in a loan spell, he's gone off as well on loan. That brings us to the ins, because we hadn't lost any of our superstars from the 11, other than Lloris when we chose to, because we'd already got a replacement in. We have managed to improve our squad surprisingly, and I've even managed to get one signing in for my beloved Luton Town. So, first choice goalkeeper, ridiculous. Available on a free agent, we knew that was going to happen. Went to PSG in real life. Gianluigi Donnarumma has come to the Championship in England to play for Spurs. He's going to be one of our biggest paid players, but he's probably as good, if not slightly better overall than Hugo Lloris. He's 22 years of age. He's an Italian number one. He's a fabulous goalkeeper. I've no idea how that's happened. And for me, it's probably the most unrealistic thing of the series so far. And surely he'd pick to stay at Milan in Serie A over to come into the second tier in England. But as it is, Joe Hart is going to be their number one, and we've got Donnarumma instead. I'll certainly take that as an exchange. The other goalkeeper that's come in, I'll skip one very quickly, is Simon Sluga from my club Luton Town. Croatian international, solid goalkeeper. Basically, he was almost as good as Joe Hart and as Paolo Gazzaniga, who might be leaving for a little bit more in a moment. He wanted less than half the wage. He's on 13 grand a week. He's a solid backup. Luton had him transfer listed because he wouldn't sign a new deal. And I just feel like at 28, he's a slightly younger option and gives us a really solid backup moving forward. The other two, though, are a little more higher profile than Sluga. We've got Timuri Bakayoko, who comes in from Chelsea. Basically my Sissoko replacement. Same wage, French international but 5 years younger. And for half the price we sold Sissoko. He was on the transfer list. It just seemed absolutely the sensible move to do. So a very good squad addition regardless. And then Emerson. This one is bizarre. I'll be honest, outside of seeing the odd appearance for Barcelona, I hadn't really heard or seen much about Emerson in his career. In real life, the day after I signed him on here, suddenly he's going to Tottenham for 30 million quid. So it's ended up ironically being the most realistic part of this summer, is that we've managed to get in Emerson, who in real life looks like he's joining Tottenham today as I'm recording this as well. But a wonderful loan player, fills the gap at right back, and if we get promoted and if he does well, there's definitely a permanent space for him next year. So everything looking really good at Tottenham. It leaves us with possibly the strongest squad that has ever played Championship football. But because we've made a £50 million profit in the transfer window, because we managed to bring a lot of money in, the finances at the moment look absolutely phenomenal. Now all we've got to do is make sure we get up and try and go on a run in the Cups. I will very quickly show you West Ham as well, because they're the obvious link of the sides that have come down. I did have a brief look at Declan Rice, but he doesn't want to join a rival. Looks like he's going to be going off to one of the bigger boys in the Premier League. This time it's Newcastle. Be a great signing for them if they could get him. But otherwise, they've largely kept their stars as well. They've lost 2 or 3, but nothing that we would expect from a side getting relegated at that level. I mean, Lanzini, Anderson, Benrahma's gone out on loan weirdly, and Masuaku. I wouldn't say it's any of the first team stars. The only one they really lost was Jared Bowen last year to Leicester. But of course, there's no doubting we should be winning this title. If we have a look at the season preview, we are hefty favourites to win it. West Ham only 4 favourites behind Watford and Sheffield United. Somebody explain that, but still, a very good side that Tottenham have got. We will be hoping that this is going to be an absolute thrashing on the first day of the season. We should be thumping a side like Blackpool. Sorry to use the teams like, because Blackpool are a good club. But let's go and get into our first Championship game. I'm not planning to show much Championship action this year, possibly other than the West Ham games. But realistically, the Cups are where it's at, and we should be winning this league at a canter. So let's have a look at the lineup and the squad we've gone for in the Championship for our first game of the season. Gianluigi Donnarumma is somehow in goal. Doherty and Reguilon are the fullbacks with Dyer and Sanchez at centre-half. And Ndombele and Højbjerg in the middle. Moura, Lo Celso and Son Heung-min the attacking midfield 3. With Harry Kane back up front. Playing for England in the Euros. And he is now playing for Tottenham in a Championship. I didn't see how they got on in the Euros. I didn't see who won it. It was Italy who won it. So hang on a minute. I'm guessing Gianluigi Donnarumma, he did. Donnarumma's last competitive game was winning the Euros with Italy, and he has come back to play second tier football with Tottenham. I cannot explain to you how much I'm struggling to process that, and I really don't understand of all the things how that has occurred. But the team we've got for today is incredibly strong. We've got a 4-2-3-1, we're playing out, we're going positive. Let's go and get into it though. It should be a very comfortable win. Let's see if we can achieve it. That's going to be the big question. Obviously, enormous expectation as we're at home to one of the relegation favourites. Blackpool did really well to win the league, but they've not got the stars they had on loan, and they are probably a little bit weaker than last season. They've still got a good keeper in Lumley. Cal Naismith, I know well as a Luton fan covering at centre half. He of course started the beta save at Wigan with us back in November last year. It's a good side, but really, it shouldn't be threatening us. I'm expecting 3-4, 5-0 here. Let's see if we can deliver. A massive superstar lineup in the Championship and a lot of empty seats as you'd expect. But we're going to win them round. We're going straight from the kickoff with Harry Kane. I've put him up there as a complete forward as I think it's on the slower highlights there. We're going to drop down to key highlights. We're going to get the match speed up and we're going to get the replays off. As we work our way down the right with Mora to Doherty. Højbjerg could be the perfect start here. Doherty again in towards Lo Celso. Headed away as far as Ndombele. He can bring it down to Doherty, the right back. To Lucas Moura. Can take on his man here and put the cross in. Goes back to Matt Doherty instead. In towards Lo Celso again. Harry Kane just not able to get on the end of one yet. They're not quite finding him. Doherty goes down the line again. Lucas Moura there first. You can see the difference in pace. The difference in quality on the ball. It's moving so quickly. Reguilón overlapping on the left-hand side. Kane's in the middle if he can find him. But Cal Naismith hacks it away. Incredible start, but not quite the goal yet. It is all Tottenham Hotspur though, as Lucas Moura's in down the right. Chance to cut it back. Naismith there again. Højbjerg into Lo Celso. Down for Lucas Moura. It's just over the crossbar. Lightning start for Spurs. This should be a very good season. 14 minutes on the clock, and for the first time we're seeing a touch for Donnarumma. Plays out to Eric Dyer and Højbjerg. Plays Dyer in again to Ndombele. Very good player Ndombele, but not quite got the physical fitness, the stamina to maintain it for 90 minutes twice a week. So we might have to rotate a little in there. But that's a good thing with Bakayoko coming in. As Moura gets down the right again, absolutely skins his man, leaves him standing still. Doherty into Harry Kane, back to Højbjerg. It's as far as Ndombele to Son. Not really seen much of him yet, as Reguilón overlaps on the left. Gets to the byline, in towards Lo Celso. And we get lift off for the Championship season. Lo Celso's had the most chances of anyone so far. With a quarter of an hour gone, that should open the floodgates a lot. As we're back again, it was Højbjerg diving onto the floor. No penalty given. It's a long ball forward towards Nuttall. The last thing we want to do is concede here, but Eric Dyer defends really well. Goes long over the top towards Kane. Lovely first touch. Beats his man. Goes for the shot. Straight at Lumley. And that's my only worry for him in the Championship. Will he miss that electric pace? I'm sure he won't. He'll find a way. As Dyer gives it to Ndombele. To Højbjerg. Out to the left wing to Son. Lovely touch to Kane. And he's out to Reguilón again. Gets the ball on the left byline. Free in the middle. Son Heung-min's one of them. And it's 2-0. This is why I'm not showing many Championship games this year. It's going to be an absolute domination. I'm sure we'll have a few difficult away days. But the home ones, we should win half of them very comfortably. As Doherty throws in. Mitchell gets it away to Hamilton. Long ball downfield which Ndombele intercepts. But you can see why the Cups will be our priority. We want European football. As Doherty into Son. Knocked down by the keeper. It was a great save by Lumley first. And Harry Kane gets his goal. To be honest, if he's chasing the goal scoring record for Spurs, this sort of season should really help him. Taps one in on the rebound. And he's got a free kick again in towards Son. Just beaten to it by Lumley, who clears long downfield. Reguilón back flicks it away, I think, there. Looked very bizarre. As Nuttall picks it up on halfway. Wide to Hamilton. Good spell of possession this for Blackpool. Would be interesting to see them come forward and get a goal, but Lucas Moura trying to stop it with a slide tackle. Mitchell on the left-hand side to Thornley. On halfway, they're not really progressing to the final third here. They're being forced to pass sideways as it's over the top towards Hamilton. Not the best defending there. In towards Dyer. Beaten there, but Donnarumma does well. Dougal back to Masengo. And we're forced to clear it away. First bit of action for our goalkeeper. But still a very comfortable lead. As there's a throw on the right-hand side again for Howe. Kane nicks it on the left wing. There's two men running up in support, but Kane's going alone here. Gets into the box, goes for the shot. Lumley tips it over. Excellent work from Harry Kane. Carries the ball so well. Son puts the corner in swinging delivery, straight to Harry Kane, who just can't quite get there. And with 7 minutes to the break, it is utter domination. And if this is a sign of things to come, I'm going to be thoroughly entertained this season, albeit it's been a bit too easy for my liking. At half-time, we're going to praise the lads. They're going to have to keep it up. But if we can get the confidence going early on, if we can get the fans back in, this should be a brilliant year for the club. As it's a throw on the right for Blackpool. Not the best start to the second half here. 8 minutes gone, it's into Hamilton. And Blackpool have got a goal. We look really poor defensively, particularly at centre-half. I mean, Sanchez has flattered to the sea for a long time. And Eric Dyer having a decent game, but probably needs a slightly stronger partner. With just over an hour gone, it is the first day of the season. There are a few tired legs. I'm going to go and make a couple of changes. Dele Alli not available due to injury, so Lo Celso, it's a bit harder to replace him. What I might try and do a few times this year is drop Harry Kane into the number 10 and put Parrott the wonder kid on up front. Because he's got the ability to be a superstar and he just needs the game time. So I'm going to give it a go with this game quite comfortable. Sanchez I'm going to replace with Tanganga, the youngster at the back. Son Heung-min out to the right hand side. He will be an inside forward on attack. And then on the left wing, I'm going to bring on Sessegnon, who will be a winger on support. So a switch of sides for Son, a switch of duties for the wingers. With 20 to go, it's 3-1 and it's looking comfortable. We've made Blackpool chase the ball a lot, so can we get them to tire now? Son beats the sliding challenge, gets into the box. Good save by Lumley. And to be fair, we're going to see a fair few keepers have their game of their life against us this year. We've had 11 shots on target and we've got another free kick out wide. Son into the back stick. Lumley does really well with it. To be fair, Blackpool have put up a decent fight here. It could have at 3-0 got to 4-5 and got really ugly. But they've kept it tight and they've worked hard as Parrott's in from the Doherty through ball. Slides his shot wide. They're the ones we needed Harry Kane running onto. But he's not seen too much of that in this game. 10 minutes to go, a very comfortable lead. And don't forget, as much as we are by far the best side in the league this year, we are going to need to rebuild that confidence a little because it was knocked severely last year. This will go a long way to doing so. A Son delivers from Ndombele, knocked down for Dyer who can't finish. And Mitchell can bring it away. 3-2 would not be a good end to this game. Mitchell gives it away to Højbjerg though. Reguilon long downfield. It's intercepted and Naismith finds his keeper. Out to Thornley. 10 seconds to go. I think this will be it. Sarkic flicks onto Labala though. Don't you dare concede again. Reguilon closes down. Doesn't stop the cross. Mitchell's in and heads over. And for all of the brilliance going forward, there are some massive concerns at the back for this Tottenham team. And I know we're going to be able to go up with this team this year, but we really are going to need a centre-half if we do go up. As Højbjerg switches left to Sessegnon, the full-time whistle goes. A confidence builder to start the season after a horrific year for Tottenham Hotspur. And my hope is that this is a comfortable platform to build from as we try and get back up at the first attempt. So in terms of this football season, we're probably going to have to play it by ear a bit. So the second round of the League Cup is the 24th of August. Unless we get a Premier League side like one of the good mid-table ones, we're probably not going to show it. Because we want to show the games where it's really going to be a threat. If we get a lower league side, we'll keep going and we'll be back for the third episode next Saturday whenever we get a Premier League Cup tie or a tough challenge. It might be a West Ham, for example. The only two league games I'm planning to show after this season are the West Ham game on the 23rd of November. There's another West Ham game then right towards the end, which could be, if all goes to plan, around the time we wrap up the title. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on this year and whether we can wrap up one of the cups to get European football, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments, are you as disappointed and surprised as me that it's been so easy to keep the stars? There's been no real fuss from any of the superstar players. And then tell me how on earth we've managed to sign Donnarumma, because I can't quite work out why he's decided to come to us. But if you want to stay up to date and find out what happens next, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back with Bangor City tomorrow for another week of action in that Builder Nation, and then this will be back next Saturday. There's links to the Twitch channel in the eye above where we'll have regular live streams as well as much more. And a massive thank you for watching, for joining me as always, and I'll see you next time.